What is up, Eastern Oregon? This is Dodgy with EOAlive Sports, and today I am joined by EOU senior. I guess I call him senior. I don't know if he's a grad student or a senior, but he's Garrett Hawks. He's on the basketball team. He was just named the CCC Offensive Player of the Week. You've had multiple awards already this year. Garrett, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. So let's first just kind of figure out how you ended up at Eastern Oregon University to play basketball.
All right.
Yeah.
How far back do you want to go with that?
I'll take me all the way back. Let's start with high school.
Well, in high school, I always knew that I wanted to attempt to play college sports, especially basketball. I was a three-sport athlete in high school.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed football and track as well. Had some looks for them, but I knew that I always wanted to pursue basketball. So my coaches helped me a lot. They got me into lots of camps. AAU wasn't really an option from where I'm from. I would have had to drive 4 hours 3 times a week just for practice.
Yeah.
So that wasn't really an option for me. So I didn't get looks that way. Mine came from more just trying to send film, trying to make those connections. The tough part is I went on an LDS mission for my church, so
Right.
I had a 2-year gap.
Yep.
And a lot of people aren't looking for an older guy coming back. They want him out of high school and, maybe even redshirt, but that puts me back another year. So really it was just I had some great assistant coaches that helped me with contacting and talking with lots of colleges, and I went on a college visit to the College of Southern Idaho with Coach Reinhardt, and I had some other visits set up, but he liked me as a player. He said I fit his roster as far as a person too, and he said that he wasn't going to offer me a scholarship, but he'd let me be on the team. He'd offer me a walk-on spot. So that's where it really started, was at CSI. I took that walk-on spot with a former teammate. He was a freshman when I was a senior. He took us both as walk-ons. And by the second semester, I'd earned a full-ride scholarship to CSI.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it all started. And Kemp started to talk to Coach Reinhardt.
Which he has a really good connection with CSI.
Yeah. So that was the beginning of everything was there, and I had another year at CSI if I wanted to take it, and I really liked the offer that Coach Kemp offered me, and I didn't know if I'd get another opportunity like that with the season that we'd had at CSI. So we just took it. My wife and I made the decision to move and see where it takes us, and we came to LeGrand.
So, are you a senior on paper?
I'm a junior technically.
So you have one more year after this.
I do.
I didn't know. I assumed that you did 2 years at CSI, because, I mean, most people, they'll play their 2 years at junior college, or maybe that there was like something COVID involved. But you were on your mission during COVID.
That's right.
Oh,
yeah, I did.
What was that like?
That was pretty crazy.
Where was your mission?
I was in Chile, in South America.
Yeah. So what was that like?
That was quarantine was taken to another level in South America. I had to submit my passport to a website that would give me a receipt saying that I could leave my apartment to buy groceries for 2 hours once a week.
Crazy.
Once a week, I was outside of my apartment for 2 hours.
Wow. So, fresh out of high school, where did you go to high school, by the way?
North Fremont. It's in Ashton, Idaho. Southeast Idaho.
So that's way down in the bottom, right?
It's north of like Pocatello and Idaho Falls, but southeast Idaho.
Small town.
Very small.
Yeah. How many people in your school?
I think they're in the school. I graduated with 54.
Yeah, that's
so.
Small.
I think we're not much. We're right around 300-ish.
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
So was it all? Did you know all along you were going on a mission? Like that there was there, or did it like kind of creep up on you, or what?
No, I'd planned on doing it since I was little.
Yeah.
I'm the youngest of 6, and all 5 of my siblings above me served missions.
So you knew.
Yeah, and the girls, they had an option to or not. The guys, it's encouraged to go. So my brothers went, but then my 3 sisters went, and I didn't really see another option for me. I just wanted to follow in good examples' footsteps.
Did it ever did you ever think about it might affect your basketball career?
Yes, but I also, it takes a lot of faith to do something like that. And I saw it more of, God would give me the opportunity if I did what he wanted first. So I put his priorities above mine. And
Yeah.
then in the end, I figured I'd get rewarded for doing it. And
Yeah.
I feel blessed for it. So
What's it like being married and having a kid? I mean, it's not as uncommon as you think, especially for guys who have been on a mission. Like it's not as uncommon as you
Right.
think. But what's it like? How do you juggle it?
it definitely is a little bit more busy than I expected. At times when you finish class and you've already gone to practice, and that's a lot of times when guys go in and put extra reps in the gym after, and you have that feeling of I should be home, right? I should be with my family.
Yeah.
So you have to find different times to get into the gym. Maybe it's earlier morning when people are still asleep.
Yeah.
Get in your workouts when you can. That definitely, it was interesting to try to prioritize that. But that being said, I have the most supportive wife in college sports. She played herself in Michigan for
Okay.
Division II at Spring Arbor in Michigan. She played for them. Her older sister played at BYU for the girls and at Michigan State. So, I mean, they come from a sports background, and she honestly supports me in it more than anybody, almost more than myself. She's there pushing me every day to go get workouts, go to
Yeah.
practice, lift. So, I mean, it's incredible.
It's got to help. Like she knows the grind.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, if somebody doesn't understand that grind, then it might be like, why are you never here? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, why are you always at the gym? But if somebody that understands it and knows it, it probably makes it a lot easier.
Oh, for sure.
What about you personally? Like, what player do you like to emulate? Like, who do you think your game kind of molds after?
That's funny. We've talked about this a lot this season, and I don't really know. Growing up, I always watched Blake Griffin highlights all the time. I was
Yeah.
like, Blake Griffin's so cool. I'd watch him
He's
all the
fun to
time.
watch.
And, obviously I don't have the vertical nor the size or anything like that, but I just loved how hard he attacked the rim, how hard he would go block shots, play defense, how hard he dunked the ball. So I don't know. I guess that was definitely a role model. Also on the flip side, though, I love to watch Ray Allen and a shooter standpoint, just catch and shoot, catch it where you shoot it type thing. So I don't know of a great, I guess, player comparison for me.
Yeah.
But those are just some of the athletes that I enjoyed watching.
Two really good players. Two completely opposite players.
Right.
But two really good. But I'm the same way. Like my two are Iverson and Shaq. I mean, Iverson and Shaq, you
Yeah.
couldn't be you couldn't be further apart from each other, except for they both got that dog in them. You know
That's
what I
true.
mean? And that's that's why I'm a '90s basketball dude, and I'll always revert back to talking about '90s basketball, just because everybody was just all the time. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The NBA nowadays, it's a little bit different. Like you guys, I mean, growing up as a kid, did you feel like the 3-point shot was like super important? Because I feel like most people your age do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a problem too. Your little kids trying to throw up a shot from 28, 30 feet.
And they're like,
And it's not what you should be practicing at the time, but that's what the cool thing is to do.
absolutely. What about your hero? Like who's your hero? Like,
Overall, outside
Yeah.
of sports standpoint,
Yeah.
I kind of duel on this hero. One is my grandpa.
yeah,
He's just a great example of hard work, dedication. He built a business. He runs a registered Angus cattle farm.
oh, cool.
Built it by himself. Started with 2 cows and went from there, and had over 300 registered Angus. And just a great example of what hard work looks like. How the way he treats his wife, my grandma, just a good man that he is. So I always go back to him. But obviously my father is a hero of my life. He raised me to be a hard worker on the farm, right? We go out and pick rocks in the field together. He calls it our character building.
Yeah,
And
right.
he raised a family on the means that we had, and just he supports me every weekend in LeGrand, driving 8 hours one way to come watch a basketball game for a weekend. So I mean, he definitely a hero in my books.
That's pretty impressive. That's a 8-hour drive one way.
One way.
to watch 2 games for the weekend. Does he get to stay at least?
Yeah, they stay at our place. He comes Friday.
That's awesome.
For the game, stays until Sunday morning and drives home.
That's awesome. What about we talked about Hero. What about growing up? What team do you like? What basketball team were you?
I was a Thunder fan.
You were
growing up.
So that was like Harden. Was that when Harden and Westbrook, and
Harden,
Durant were all there?
Ibaka, Perkins.
That team. That was a good team.
Yeah.
They didn't stay together long, but that was
they didn't.
That's the old Seattle Supersonics, right?
I'm the wrong person to ask.
I think
going further back.
I mean, I think it is. Like, I think the Sonics left Seattle and became Oklahoma City.
Okay.
And because Durant was drafted as a Sonic. Yeah. And so I think that when that change happened, Seattle went to Oklahoma City, if I remember right. But what about pizza? Do you like pineapple on pizza?
The thing about food is if it's there, I'll eat it. If it's made for me, if it's made for me, if it's served, I'm eating it. So
anything? Like, you don't have anything that you're like,
hey, you live in South America for 2 years and you eat what's in front of you and don't ask questions. So
what's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten?
I ate something called pasta de choclo with menudo. So it's like a shepherd's pie, but they make it with ground corn, and then they put chunks of cow stomach as the meat in it. And I wasn't a fan.
No?
That's not one that you can just muscle down very easy.
So you don't like tripe tacos?
Well, I mean, that style of food, they had one with the chicken, and it was great. Yeah. But just specifically with the stomach in it wasn't...
Not your thing?
No.
What about your favorite food? What do you like? Say whether it be like a restaurant or mom's cooking or wife's cooking. What's your go-to?
I don't think you can go wrong with just a good burger, a Mile High burger, everything on it.
Everything?
Yep.
Tomatoes, onions, everything.
You can put onion rings on that thing, and
that'd be good.
As much as you can stack in those between, I'm eating it.
Game days here. What are you eating that day? Like, kind of walk me through like when you eat and how long before the game. Like what?
Night before, I definitely a good carb load. Whether it's some pasta or anything like that. I just make sure I'm eating good the night before. Breakfast for me is pretty light. Not a breakfast fan a whole lot, but in the mornings I definitely try to eat something. If we're on the road, I guess I'm an old soul that way. I eat oatmeal at the hotels.
Which every hotel has it.
Yep. And I eat it. And game days are tough because you always kind of have not the butterflies, but a little bit of anxiety and stuff going all the time.
Stomach's kind of doing weird things. Yeah.
But you kind of have to push through that and make sure you're still getting your meals in. I'm a sandwich person a couple hours before the game.
Like PB&J or like meat?
I switch it up. Sometimes it's a hamburger sandwich. Sometimes it's a meat sandwich. Other times it's PB&J, but about 3 hours before game starts, and then a lot of hydration through in between.
Right, it's just pretty typical. And then a big old meal after.
Yeah, as soon as the game's over, it's game time to go eat.
What about like when you talk about like games that you've been involved in? What's the biggest game you've played in your life so far?
I'd probably say my senior year, we made it to the state tournament in high school. We ended up winning the state tournament. It was the first men's basketball championship in our school's history.
Oh, that's awesome!
So that was a great experience.
Is that 2A in Idaho? Or 2A. Nice.
Yep. So I mean, not a crazy big school, but still competition once you get to the tournament. And our school actually went to win back-to-back the next season after I graduated too. So it was kind of hopefully starting a better trend for our program history. But we were the underdogs for the season. We'd lost to our rivals in conference 4 times.
And you won a state.
And they ended up losing in the semifinals to St. Mary's, who's Grayson on my team.
Yeah.
His older brother played on the team, and his older brother played in the championship game.
Wow.
And yeah, we ended up winning it in 2019.
That's cool. That's awesome, man. Like you lose 4. What'd you say? 4 times to
4 times to our rivals.
To your rivals, and then you still win the state championship.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen very often. What about so we talked about you winning the state championship, but now let's talk about like what you're doing right now. What are you going to school for?
I'm in the health and human performance degree.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
That's a great question.
You haven't decided yet.
At the start, I was going into pre-chiropractic school, so an exercise science degree. I love the sports atmosphere. I love the personal training, the physical therapy, the chiropractic adjustment. I like that area. I also grew up on a farm though, and it's hard to be pulled away from a family farm life.
Yeah.
So I think ideally for me would be kind of a dual career to
Rodeo.
be able to. Well, maybe, but to be able to help in the farm during the busy seasons,
Yeah.
and also have a job on the side that I can have some passive income, whether that's chiropractics or physical therapy or even a sports trainer like we have here at the school.
Yeah.
Something on the side, sports related. I've been doing personal training with athletes since my junior year of high school.
Right.
So that's something I pursue as well. But
Yeah, I know a couple of kids that you work with around here, I think,
yeah.
if I remember right. So 10 years from now, where's Garrett Hawks? Like, where do you want to be?
Well, you're asking me or you're asking my wife? 'Cause
Well,
I guess
I mean, she's the boss, so I mean,
true.
what would she say?
I think right now we find ourselves still in Idaho. We enjoy it. We have lots of good friends and family support in Idaho. Her family now has moved around a little bit. They live in Tennessee,
Okay.
and we definitely will spend our time there visiting and good family time there as well. But I think from what we have set, and obviously plans change like crazy, I think we find us in Idaho, probably around the Rexburg area.
Yeah.
In that job, close to the farm, but close to family. Yeah.
How many kids?
Well,
Squad, like a whole basketball team?
no,
Like your family?
I think 4 to 5.
4 to 5.
Yeah.
I mean, 5's a basketball
5
team.
would, I know, I'm trying to get there with Emma, but as of right now, 4 is the goal, and then we'll see what happens after that.
I mean, I have 3 siblings, and then I have 3 kids myself. So we have 4, and then 3, and I mean, once you get past 2, there ain't much. Like there's a big difference between 1 and 2. But once you get past 2, it's like just throw another guy. Like it
Here
don't
they
matter.
come.
Come on.
You're already outnumbered after
Yeah,
2. It doesn't matter.
It's all good. What about superheroes? Who's your favorite superhero?
It's probably an unpopular opinion, but I think I go with Iron Man.
Yeah, I mean it's actually a really popular one. Why? Why do you like Iron Man?
I mean, I know that he's got his special abilities and obviously the chest implant, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I think that he creates a lot of his own destiny, and that's what I like.
He's
So
definitely
he's not just
successful.
one of those, he's not crazy strong. He doesn't have an incredible superpower, but he creates and builds what he wants the outcomes to be, and I think that's why I like him.
This team this year, this men's team, I tell a lot of people. I mean, I'm going to be quite frank and honest with you. I think it's the best EOU men's basketball team that I've seen, like talent-wise, like all around since I've been around EOU men's basketball. And there's times when you guys, I call you guys Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde because, like, when I look at, there's times when you guys are like the best team in the world, and then there's times when I'm just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
What are you guys doing to try to make it more Dr. Jekyll and less Mr. Hyde?
Right. That's a great question because I feel like that's in sports in general. Like everyone goes through their slumps, and then all of a sudden everyone has their outbreaks, and you wonder why can't we have the outbreaks all the time?
Yeah.
I think that we're definitely in practice. We're competing on a high level right now. Of everything is very high competition, just so that we always can keep that competitive edge, so that when the shots aren't falling, the other stuff we're doing is going to make up for it. Right. So I think that helps a lot. The other thing about this group is there's no outcasts. Everyone's on your teams. You have that guy or those guys that kind of are just
sometimes,
where they are, and there's not a lot of controlling that. And with this team, there's not. Like last night, we watched the college football championship, and 10 of the guys are at my apartment. We're all eating dinner and watching the game together.
Yeah.
Like there's a special, a tight knit group about us, and that doesn't come in a lot of teams.
Right.
So I think that helps us as well, is when things are kind of falling apart, we know that we can rely on each other and rely on each other's strengths more than pick each other apart for the weaknesses that are showing.
Good. So right now you guys are sitting in 4th in the conference. What's your goals? Like, what do you guys want out of this year?
Well, we obviously we've shown that we can play with the best team in our conference.
Right.
You know, we did it for a half. We definitely fell apart in the second
On the road
half.
at their house too.
Right. So I think, you know, if anyone doesn't have the goal that we could be right behind them at the end of this thing and play them for the championship, I would say you're crazy, right? Because I feel like, honestly, that's potential for us and something we can do.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a couple things fall our way against OIT. We beat them. You know what I mean?
Right.
We were up by, I want to say like 9 with like 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, we were.
At home. And we get them again this weekend. So, this weekend's going to be a big test for you guys.
Definitely is. Even Southern put together a good weekend last weekend and beat LC.
Yeah.
So we've got 2 good matchups this weekend that if we drive away with 2 wins, that puts us in a really good spot. I think that bumps us up to 3rd even.
Yeah.
And then we work our way up.
I think right now we're tied. Corbin has the tiebreaker, I think, I don't remember. I looked at it, but we're right there. There's 2 teams, 3 and 4, that I think have the same record or close, or maybe 4 and 5. The basketball wise, do you have plans? Like, do you want to try to play after?
Yes, I think
There's
so.
always a possibility.
I think you always have to give yourself the chance, because if you never try, you never know.
Yep.
And I think that's kind of where I sit right now, is I might as well try. And if it doesn't work, that's fine. I've got my plans on if it doesn't work. And if it does, yes, then we know, right?
Is there, before I get you out of here, is there anything that, like, Coach Kemp, right? You know, he's kind of a quirky dude. You know, is there anything that, like, he does that sticks out to you, or anything that he says, you know, that kind of like either motivates or you know, kind of sticks out in a way more than just regular things?
I think that what comes to mind is he's really good at accountability. First off, like if it's on us, it's on us, and if it's on him, it's on him, and he'll let us know that, right?
I love that.
Which is great, because not a lot of coaches will take accountability on that kind of stuff, and I'm not saying he's doing anything wrong, right? I'm just saying if something or a play call is wrong, he takes accountability for it, and then he has a saying that we've gone through all year, which is done next, and we obviously, you know, when you around something like that, we start making jokes with it, you know, or like something funny happens, we're like, done next. But honestly, in the back of our minds, that's really what it is. Something goes good or something goes bad.
Move on.
Done next, because basketball is a fast-paced sport.
I mean, that should be life too. Done
Right.
next. We shouldn't dwell in the past. You know, it's like we can't change it. It happened. Like,
Right.
What's up?
So next? I think he's done really well at that and put that mindset into all of us as players, which is great.
I love that. Eastern Oregon, he's EOU men's basketball's Garrett Hawks, and I'm Dodgy. Garrett, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me on.